What's up, my fans? Welcome to Triple THS, brought to you by Kountermove Fantasy MMA at Kountermove.com. I'm the Jimmy the Greek of badminton of mixed martial arts, Tommy Toehold. Today, my UFC on Fox 12 picks. Let's do this shit! Holy fucking fuck fight fans, has it been good times for the UFC? Last Wednesday we had the best fucking card ever. Saturday the crowd in Dublin caused planets surrounding the earth to explode. And now this Saturday free on Fox, we've got a badass motherfucking super card. All sorts of awesomeness all over this thing. And it ends with two of the most badass dudes in the history of the earth punching each other in the face for 5 rounds. All these dudes do is eat, sleep, and knock people the fuck out. They both have iron chins, both give no fucks, and both are kicking the shit out of the welterweight division. Matt Brown and Robbie Lawler. We will only see a matchup this fucking epic once every 2,000 years, fight fans. You're gonna watch this card. Shit. It's fucking free on local television. Why the fuck wouldn't you watch this thing? But you know what would make an already awesome Saturday night even awesomer? I will tell you what. Cold beer, hot pizza, a bunch of friends, and Kountermove Fantasy MMA at Kountermove.com. I know what you're gonna say. Tommy, I'm not an expert. I don't know how to play fantasy MMA. I can't eat pizza because I'm lactose intolerant. First of all, fuck you. Fuck you for being lactose intolerant and not enjoying the greatest human accomplishment that has ever existed, known as pizza. Secondly, you don't need to be an expert to have fun. And third, let's show you how to play Kountermove Fantasy MMA. First thing you're going to want to do is head to Kountermove.com using some sort of interwebs. Once you get there, first thing you're going to notice is professional hot person and Prefontaine reincarnated Natasha Wicks. Once you manage to pull your eyes away from her, you're going to see that Kountermove offers a shit ton of games. Games for all types of people. Cheap games, big games, free games. Make your own game, whatever the fuck you want to do. Me, I'm going for Crooklyn's Big Money Tourney. $25 gets me in. Winners taking home $2,000 and top 67 payout. It doesn't matter which tourney you pick, they're all going to play the same. So just decide on one and you'll be brought to this screen. Fight fans, this is fantasy MMA. We're not in Vegas. Your straight up picks or the spread mean absolutely dick. You're picking a team of 5 fighters. You've got $25,000 for $10 to spend on them. Your 5 fighters perform. You rack up points. You win. It's that fucking simple. We're looking for the best performances just like your fantasy football team. So in the sport we call mixed martial arts, the best your fighter can do is finish in the first round, and that's where the big points come. All right, let's look at this card top to bottom so we can decide who's going to be a hitter on Saturday night. First up, we've got Kyle Kingsbury and Patrick Cummins. You might remember Patrick from the ass whooping he took from Daniel Cormier, but you might not have seen him put the smackdown on Roger Narvaez. Kingsbury has the experience, but there's something about that Pat Cummins. Oh, I know. He's never had one fight go to a decision. I'm going with Patrick Cummins. I think he's got a bright future in the UFC. Up next, we've got Clay Guida and Dennis the Menace. This fight sucks balls for Kountermove. Both of these guys are big on decisions, and while the fight may end up exciting, I don't really see a finish happening. If I had to go with anyone, I would say Clay gets the win. He's got 42% of his victories by submission. All 3 of Bermudez's losses come via submission. If you want to pick on this one, I would go with the Carpenter, but I'm going to stay away from it. Let's jump to the co-main. Anthony Johnson takes on Little Nog. This fight is a must pick. Rumble Johnson's back in the UFC, and he is a bad motherfucker. Last time Nog was knocked out was 2007. The next time he's knocked out is this Saturday night. He's 38 now. Johnson's a legit contender. I think he puts Antonio to sleep early. Rumble Johnson is going on my Kountermove team, and he should go on yours too. Next up, we've got Tim Means and Hernani Perpetuo. This one is really hard for me to pick on. Tim Means has the experience here, but he's been hit and miss in the UFC. Perpetuo is no slouch. I'm avoiding this one because I have no idea who's gonna win or if we'll get a finish. If you have to have somebody, I would go with Tim Means. But I need stronger picks than this. And speaking of stronger picks, this one has demolition written all over it. Jorge Masvidal is a huge favorite here, but I'm all about value picks. And the thing about Jorge is half of his fights end when the final horn sounds. And I don't know if you've caught much of Darren Cruikshank, but this motherfucker has gone full Kumite a bunch of times. I'm going with the upset. I think Cruikshank blasts Masvidal with some spinning shit and puts his lights out. Next up, we've got Steven Seiler and Noad Lahat. One's nickname is Neo, the other's is Super, and neither of these guys are going to be on my Kountermove team. This is another fight where I'd pick Steven Seiler if I had to, but it's unclear whether or not he's going to be able to get the early stop. He's on a 2-fight losing streak in the UFC. There are too many questions here. Avoid this one. Next up, we have Mike Delator and Brian Ortega. Ortega is undefeated, but 50% of his wins are decisions, and he's never fought in the UFC. Delator is finishing motherfuckers all the time, and even though he lost his debut in the UFC, I'm going with Delator in this one. He's got the experience, and he finishes more often than not. Moving on to Josh Thompson and Bobby Green. This fight is deceptive because most people will think of the absolute destruction that Thompson brought down on Nate Diaz last April. The problem is, he's hit and miss when it comes to finishes, and the last time Bobby Green got stopped was 4 years ago. I'm picking the Punk to win, no doubt, but this could end up being a bloody grinder, and a decision is not what I'm looking for in a Kountermove tourney. Next, we have a preliminary matchup between Andreas Stahl and Gilbert Burns. Both making UFC debuts, both undefeated. The difference being, Gilbert Burns has decimated every single one of his opponents in the first round, while half of Stahl's have gone to a decision. If this kid is as much of a beast as he appears to be, look for Gilbert Burns to railroad stall early. A strong fucking counter move pick. After that, we've got Juliana Lima and Joanna Jędrzejczyk. These girls don't get a lot of finishes, so it's hard for me to put either one of them in my counter move tourney, but Jędrzejczyk finished Rosie Sexton. And if you've seen Rosie Sexton fight, you know she can take a beating better than Mick Foley. So if I had to pick on this one, I'm going with Jędrzejczyk. Next up, we've got Akbar Arola and Tiago Trader. Both have a ton of experience, but in 22 wins, Arola has finished 95% of the time. I think General Akbar wins and wins big. And finally, we have the main event, Matt Brown and Robbie Lawler. Now, normally, I would never pick on a fight like this because it's too close. But when you look at what Matt Brown has done in the last 2 years and the performance he had against Eric Silva, it's hard not to pick the Immortal. I know Robbie Lawler is damn near invincible, but he's also been taken to a decision a number of times by tough opponents. I'm going with the underdog here. I think Matt Brown wins. I think he finishes. I think he gets a title fight. Okay, you've seen the matchups. I gave you my thoughts. Pick whoever the fuck you want. I'm going with Patrick Cummins, Rumble Johnson, Darren Cruikshank, Gilbert Burns, and Matt Brown. Once you have your team, hit the play button, invite your friends to join in the fun, then review your team. Come fight night, you can see how you're doing against everyone else in your tourney in real time. You are going to watch UFC on Fox 12. There is no doubt in my fucking mind, so why not make what might end up being the best card all year even fucking better? Jump into a counter move game when you've got a personal interest in the fight. It's gonna be a million times more fun. I didn't know who the fuck Gilbert Burns was until yesterday. But come Saturday, I'm gonna be his biggest fucking fan. I might get a fucking Gilbert Burns tattoo if he wins in the first round on Saturday. So head to countermove.com, sign up right now, invite your friends, get an attorney, get in Crookland's tourney, make your own. I'm telling you, it's gonna be the most fucking fun that's ever happened. For everybody Triple THS, I'm Tommy Toehold. I will see you on the motherfucking leaderboards, and hopefully I don't have to look up.